Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Leadnap Gaming. Today we're finally going to break down that pirate fleet build.
Systems activated. Systems on.
Piracy is probably not what all of you are thinking about when I say Piracy Fleet. That's an odd way to start off a video, right? I want to make this clear, since this is how this video is broken down. There is a difference between piracy and criminal syndicate activities. Can syndicates pirate? Yes. Can pirates be involved in syndicate activity? Yes. But they're not conducting piracy at that point. Piracy is defined by Oxford as the practice of attacking and robbing ships at sea, or space in our case. Things like drug running or cargo smuggling are not piracy. These are more syndicate activities. Now you're starting to get it. So about those fleets. There is a modern practice of mothership piracy, but generally speaking, in a verse-like scenario, piracy will often be conducted by a single ship. The Pearl sails alone, after all. Today's focus is much more on the single ship options, though we will talk some about fleet topics as well. The biggest reason for focusing on a single ship approach is when it comes to piracy, you are for the most part looking for targets of opportunity. Dealing with a crew who expect a cut of the loot, and thus if you're truly dedicated to piracy, a single ship's already enough overhead to maintain. Again, I don't want to conflate this with criminal syndicate activities, which can still involve hijacking ships. A full life of crime is going to be far more profitable. Still, this is more than a semantic difference. Pirates historically had refuge in certain scenarios. The same could be true in Star Citizen. Historically speaking, pirates legitimately operated behind letters of marque. In this instance, you become more of a mercenary than a solo sort of player, but this playstyle, making deals with certain orgs, could offer you protections in areas they control, in trade for attacking rival ships in other areas they cannot operate in as efficiently. There is of course the UEE to contend with, but still, who knows what CIG may pull out of the hat in this regard. At the end of the day, the difference is also drawn here for the sake of understanding. I will be covering syndicate fleets down the road. So for our purposes today, pirate is dedicated to the attacking and hijacking or theft of cargo vehicles in the verse. So let's talk fleets. Well, ships. There's two approaches. You have loot and scoot, bring them down, grab what you can, and go. The advantage is you may be able to pacify the target, convince them to pay you off, and not have to endure any of this heartache. There's also catch and keep, where you take the ship and, well, take the ship. Big rewards, easy to get in, a lot harder to get out though. Some prime options. Well, up first is the Caterpillar, ideal for loot and scoot, especially since aside from being able to have pirate in your name, you're arguably a legit cargo ship. No cargo captain in charted lanes will ever suspect you appearing on their HUD. Pirate Cat owners shouldn't worry, plenty of legit movers will still use the Pirate Cat because they like the skin better. The Andromeda. This is a nice midpoint. You have tons of firepower available. You've got some SCU to bring stuff home in, assuming you don't just bring the whole ship back. Plenty of them are out in the verse, so it doesn't seem strange driving one down the highway. The Redeemer. Solid pick for catch and keep. You have the power to really get in and get it done. It's designed for boarding parties. The downside is it's go big or go home. You can't take any of that cargo by yourself. Some less obvious options. The Max. Admit it. I said it and you instantly said in your head that would be terrible. But that's why it's not. Cargo? Yes. Could take some real firepower and no one suspects the Max. The Sentinel. Don't let this sleeper fool you either. Make some fittings adjustments, and you could drop the shields and engines with ease. From there, it's all about the boarding party. Just be really good at FPS combat. Some honorable mentions now. The Prowler. Really, it has potential here as a good landing ship as long as spacewalking boots become a reality. Stealth is king, but your ability to drop heavily armed troops to seize a ship finally make this bird of prey a predator. The 600i. I love this ship for a lot, and while this was certainly not what it was built for, it has strong shields, great weapons, some cargo room, oh, not really a lot, and luxury yacht is the last thing you imagine pirates in. Oh, fine. The Kraken. I'm only putting this here to avoid the "you forgot pirate mothership" comments. I won't say it's useless, but the real reason piracy died in the Caribbean, and is now just guys in fishing boats, the world got a hell of a lot smaller. Everywhere you take that Kraken, everyone will know. It's impossible to get free and clear of those looking to stop you when you're impossible to miss. The key to successful pirating is a stealthy entrance and a stealthy exit. So you've decided to be more fleet-like, less privateer. Alright, fine. The first thing to add is obviously a mantis. Next, add a cat. Bonus points for Pirate Edition. Of course, if you're not going to bring the cargo back and just bring the ships, you could skip this. Fighters. If you want to push the pirate theme, the Pirate Gladius is an option too, though I would stick to heavier fighters that have legs. The Mantis can trap, use a Sentinel to bring down shields, board with Redeemer. A mothership, though, isn't a bad idea, and if you have the Kraken, fine. But the Polaris is another solid choice, giving you real firepower, unlike the Kraken, to push back those coming after you. Bonus, the Mantis can be stored inside, and they're also relatively less attention-grabbing. And you could think that they were just a legit protective service when they first show up on radar. Let's pick apart some of the thinking here. If you're in it to loot and scoot, firepower is a good thing to bring along. Disable the shields, disable the engines, plunder. However, the real money is going to be in taking the ship with you, and that means you generally need the engines to work. Of course, our first mention, the Cat, also has a tractor beam, and this means potentially you could just tow the ship. Otherwise, with say the Redeemer, the engines are critical to your escape. It's an easy trap to fall into here, thinking big weapons equals easy pirating. Pirates need to focus on FPS combat. You're not destroying them, you want their cargo. For all of these reasons, ships like the Sentinel and Warlock are some of your best choices. Once all game mechanics of components and whatnot are in, these are some of your best choices because you don't permanently damage the target. Single ship action is best because you don't attract attention to yourself. But let's face it, the trapping ability of the Mantis is really hard to pass up. The problem with the Mantis is you have to bring a friend, but plenty of pirates will. Redeemer and Mantis is a solid fleet, and while you think I'm going nuts here, let me offer you this approach. Buy a Redeemer, or whatever other gunships get thrown out there, not the A2 though. Now, have a friend or two to play with. I would LTI this, but that's just me. Now just rent yourself the Mantis. Whoever drives the Mantis is going to abandon it. They can fly the prey home. NPC or FPS crew, or bring more friends along. Point is, if you need something special like the Mantis, rent it. You can't get dinged on the insurance fraud for it, and yeah, eventually CIG might throw a penalty in for losing a rental, but not if it's destroyed by another ship or stolen. Right? Your last and perhaps most fun option for piracy is this. Just use the last ship you hijacked. Are there easier ways to do it? Of course. But let's be honest, that's the most fun option, and you get style points for doing it. So to recap, piracy is strictly robbing and hijacking other ships. You could just take something with cargo space, shields, and weapons, and take whatever you like, but the real money is hijacking the target and bringing it all home. Gunships will do very well, but your goal is a ship that puts you in a position to board and conduct FPS combat. In the comments, let me know what ships you think would be fun to pirate in. This is a wide open sort of profession, so let's talk about your ideas. As always, don't forget to like and share this video, subscribe if you haven't, and I will catch you all next time.